This boy is being sent on a mission to enter enemy lines, but the catch is the enemy are all girls. He's stuck in a world where men live in one nation, while the women live on the other half of the continent. Currently, the girls actually rule the world and are stronger, where they call themselves foxes, while the guys call themselves the wolves. So now the most elite squad of the men, also known as the wolves, are attempting an escape from the Gomage site as they know the Crimson Foxes will retaliate swiftly and brutally if they do not escape. Regardless, Blue Boy Herring decides to join his comrades in battle by jumping straight into the action from the balcony. With him jumping, he's still able to captivate the blondie and some of the girls, mainly due to his mystical aura of wielding the largest prince behemoth on the planet. Unfortunately for the girls, with Herring joining in on the fray, 3 of the strongest wolves are able to withstand the onslaught of girls running straight into them, as every single 1-2 are mere recruits. But since most blondies are lacking something in their brain department, she makes up for it by being super brave and determined, as she wants to take on the elite Garimbi by herself. As such, Blondie proceeds to track them down from behind as Wong and the boys continue charging through looking like a bunch of dudes after hearing from their girl that her parents aren't home anymore. Eventually, Homie Squad ends up running straight into a bunch of girls ready to fire arrows towards them, so the girls release a fiery barrage as soon as they come into vision. It was then, at this very moment, the trio knew they screwed up, as Wong is somehow able to squint harder than the people near me when I sneak attack them with my silent but deadly farts. But this is anime after all, so the boys pull out some miraculous defensive maneuvers by hiding behind the makeshift door shield held by Wong, since they now have plot armor on their side. And so the girls end up helplessly looking on as the trio continue making their run for it, as they are flabbergasted that a single wooden door was able to withstand such a show of power. Elsewhere, Karim is back to being his usual King Simp self, so he channels his inner waterbender powers, allowing him to successfully continue evading his Blackthorn pursuers, as the girls cannot find him due to the storm. Eventually, Ara and the Blackthorn are forced to report to Edo Naren, so Ara reveals that 3 of the elite Garimbi members have escaped as well, and Mr. Solid's Snake Karim is nowhere to be found. Upon hearing the unfavorable news, Naren instantly face palms, as this is the ultimate S-tier disaster class the Crimson Foxes have ever faced in her entire lifetime. So Naren starts to scold the nearby Blackthorn members, where she ends up calling them a bunch of nudes for hilariously losing to just 4 dudes. Thus, she personally calls over one of her most favorite underlings to help lead the recovery mission, ordering them to personally split up in 2 teams. It's then revealed that they have no idea who exactly the girl was that helped Karim escape, that he speculates actually a special forces dude that wore a wig as his disguise. Nevertheless, with not much information to go from, Naren commands the rest of the Blackthorn to check the nearby canals as they could have anticipated the rain to come. And so they end up tracking all the canals within the city to no avail, leaving Naren no choice but to contact the royal palace to notify them what just occurred. Since this takes place in Asia, Naren claims she will put her life on the line to successfully recover the lost prisoners, as she would never bring shame to her family or the Blackthorn as the supreme commander. Meanwhile, we discover that Herring, Maru, and Wong were able to lose their 5-star wanted level by using some cheats codes. Unluckily for them though, as soon as they lose their wanted level, they end up getting ganked from a nearby trapdoor with a mysterious figure staring right at them. However, the girl does not instantly blow their cover or attack them. Instead, she asks if they are coming to follow her, so it seems like she's a sussy Baka apologist ready to save them all. With Wong and Maru hesitant to follow the girl into the trapdoor, Herring ends up becoming the Sigma male to lead them forward. He then activates a little bit of his leadership skill, so he reasons with the boys that they have no other choice, as the 3 of them cannot withstand at battle against the Blackthorn. And so Maru is the second one in to follow suit, as he knows if he ever wants to see Alita battle Angel ever again and taste the rainbow with Alita, then he will have to take his chance to risk it all. Eventually, Wong joins in as well, so all 3 enter the catacombs hidden underneath of the capital city, but a girl comes flying in from the rooftops. The one is revealed to be Blondie, however. It looks like this girl is no ordinary blonde, as she seems to be in cahoots with the lady leading them down the trapdoor. As such, Blondie the fake blonde allows them to go on with their escape, whilst busy wondering why she's rooting for them deep down in her heart. She even goes as far as to buy them time as a decoy by misleading other recruits chasing them down, so it's clear as day she loves nothing more than getting rice cakes smashed. Elsewhere, Karim has remarkably escaped into the outskirts of the capital city without any Blackthorn members nearby. After getting his bearings, the King Simp proceeds towards an area full of rocks and stops abruptly to stare, almost looking like he's having some inner conflict within. Nonetheless, he continues to rummage through some rocks and ends up pushing one boulder over, where he discovers his attack on Titan gear ready to go, already fully prepared. Meanwhile, The main city gates open at the capital city, looking like some kind of Wall Maria reenaction as it dramatically opens with girls shouting "Open the door." Shortly after, a bunch of Blackthorn members on Saddleback end up following Commander Erwin Smith's charge forward, so now we know things are about to get even more real. As the Blackthorn members plow on forward, we need to pay some respects as it's been more than a moment since these girls have had their fields plowed by a wolf. Anyways, back to the mysterious girl and the trio still stuck inside the capital. The girl ends up being a dwarf, but she leads them to a hidden storage room. Inside the hidden room, a woman clouded in all black comes out to greet them, looking eerily like a man from afar. Luckily, she removes her hood to reveal an old woman that we saw a few episodes ago. Although with her name still unknown, she currently sits high up in the Royal Crimson Fox Council. She then disarms the trio by letting them know she has no intentions of harming them, since she instead starts telling the same story that Mokbom told Herring when he got caught meeting up with the underground organizations. Long story short, since Mokbom is part of male version of the underground organization, this Afro lady is part of the female version of the same organization Mokbom is part of. Elsewhere, a full Blackthorn squad continues on their search for Karim, but they actually find some of his fresh tracks leading towards some nearby mountains. However, Naren thinks this might be a trap card as there's no way Karim would be so sloppy to leave behind his own tracks, so she tells them to proceed with caution as this feels very sussy. Now speaking of sussy, the storm looms on, but Karim has decided to stop running away, so he stops eating apple to watch some more anime recaps from us, so make sure to subscribe. Meanwhile, a bunch Mega Chads from the Special Forces Delta of the Crimson Foxes begin to arrive where Adom Naren requested them to be at. Now these girls are led by none other than the Silver Beauty Hyang Seolhoi herself, and these monsters are the elite of the elite for the Crimson Foxes. So now Karim is totally screwed as he's being chased by two Blackthorn teams and the entire Delta Squadron ready to destroy him. But before Naren continues her search with her own team, she gets ganked by the leader of the Preparatory Command. With the royal leader appearing before Naren, the white robe girl orders Naren to return back to the royal palace ASAP, but Naren instantly refuses. However, the white leader claps back and tells her to shut up and continues on with her message, so she alerts Naren she needs to return now as she must prepare for war as the supreme commander of the Crimson Foxes. With the turntables turning as much as the tables in Attack on Titan, Naren stutters by saying she understands causing all attention and confusion to run amok. Thus, the all-out war between the girls and boys are about to begin, so now every single girl feels unease, knowing that they won't get the chance to experience rice cake smashing anytime soon. I feel extremely bad for the girl from Hunter x Hunter, since she's the only one within the one-step squad to never experience a battering ram siege, so it's totally okay for her to cry. At the same time, the Garimbi trio sits helplessly on top of boxes and barrels as they explain their situation to the Water Hyacinth members. Upon revealing why they chose to escape, due to them not wanting to get locked behind and to be loyal to their captain, Wong and Maru gets taken aback when Afro Lady tells them they just want to escape alive as well. Confused to what she meant by that, Herring asks if there's going to be a war, but Afro Lady grins and tells him that it has already started. However, the plot twist is the fact that if Karim perishes, then there will no longer be an ongoing war. But then she begins to send the plot twist into overdrive by hinting that Karim should perish by attempting to usurp the throne from the current Black Wolves leader instead of helping the North Wind with his conquest of the Kingdom of Girls. Maru then gets irritated that the Afro Lady is talking in some secret code, so he tells her that he thought this was supposed to be cultured anime, not some kind of advanced Attack on Titan foreshadowing. Anyways, with the trio still fidgeting to escape, we find out that the dwarf girl is named Miryong and Afro Lady has tasked her to show them the way out. And so she bids farewell to the trio, wishing them good luck, but Herring notices something peculiar about her. As soon as the Garimbi close the door behind them, another woman has entered the fray, but this time she looks like she has some silver hair exactly like Hyang Seolhoi. With so many rats now being exposed to us, I can't keep track of them since it feels exactly like New York City. Regardless, Afro Lady tells Hyang Seolhoi she will be keeping a close eye on Herring and Karim herself. With the Black Wolves and Crimson Foxes now stuck in an all-out war, the Blackthorn members combined with Delta Squad are still hurriedly chasing Karim. However, this Silver Beauty named Hyang Seolhoi knows that if they do not retrieve Karim in time before the Black Wolves arrive, the Crimson Foxes will be in deep, deep trouble. And let's just be clear, we are not talking Subway sandwich 6-inch deep, as it'll be more like 2 full footlongs. Anyways, with 2 full Blackthorn teams and an entire Delta squad chasing Karim the King's simp down, they are miraculously able to actually make headway against the Wanna, the son of Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Though the men have the King's simp, the women have their own weapon. a goddess reincarnation in the form of the Komi look-alike named Ra. Regardless, the reincarnated goddess is finally able to sniff out his location, shocking the rest of the crew. It now seems like Karim has refused to keep on running, as he's decided it's time to face off an army of girls, since what kind of man would run away from their destiny of paradise? And just as if it's like he's about to enter the gates of Valhalla, every woman nearby begins to charge at the one-man army. But Karim is unfazed and chooses to stand his ground, looking absolutely like a mega Chad as he does not even budge a single inch. However, he disappears like the Flash as soon as some of the girls get near him, making the Crimson Foxes look like a bunch of iron nudes trying to take down a Radiant player. However, as Karim activates his 100% evasion skills from Roblox, it's revealed that he's actually not alone as the Black Serang is watching from afar. Elsewhere, underneath the abandoned passages of the royal city, as Miryang shows Herring and the Garimbi boys the way out, she advises them to run as fast as they can back to their kingdom if they want to live, as the all-out war will be absolutely brutal. Upon hearing her advice, the boys stop in their tracks and claps back by saying they ain't no wimps, so instead they ask Miryang if they can lend them a few weapons. Surprisingly, Miryang agrees to their demand, so she reveals to them that this specific passageway has an abandoned forge where the trio might be able to find some makeshift weapons. So with the possibility of the boys actually being able to fight on slowly increasing, Miryang leads them to the end of the passageway before wishing them the best of luck. After she closes the hidden passageway behind them, she winks at Herring and calls him Prince Behemoth. This causes Maru to be an ultimate sussy beka as his curiosity gets the better of him, so he actually asks Herring if he can display his Prince Behemoth to him later, which Herring actually agrees to. Meanwhile, Ara is able to catch up to the king's simp, leaving behind the rest of her crew, as she is the only one that's faster than him in the entire planet. This time, Ara looks like she's super focused on actually taking him down, as no one ever gets in the way between her and her Prince Behemoth. With Ara right behind him, two more elite Delta members appear out of nowhere and attempt to take him down. Unfortunately, they make the major mistake of taunting him first before delivering their blows, so the two end up decommissioned in battle. Now that Karim has drawn first blood in front of the girls, Sylvie and Ara now realize it really do be like that during war, so Ara takes the lead to make sure she takes down her own #1 simp. Ara ultimately catches up, so she instantly forces his attention onto her by trying to gank him from behind with a direct attack. With her plan working flawlessly, she's able to buy time for two more Black Thorn members to catch up and provide assistance to her. They then surround him, causing Karim to stop for a brief second and yell out that he's lagging, so this isn't at all fair. Luckily, Karim gets saved by the bell as an arrow comes blistering through the forest. In an instant, the tide turns as the arrow is actually Sova's ult, so Sova is able to land two direct hits with a single arrow on two Black Thorn members surrounding Karim. Suddenly, the first arrow is followed by another super fast and accurate shot straight at Ara, but since she is the strongest woman on the planet after all, she's able to perfectly parry the unseen arrow last second. Mere seconds after, she uses her keen senses to catch a glimpse of where the arrow was shot from, allowing her to discover that it's actually the Black Serang supporting Karim from afar. Now that the girls know there's at least two enemies, the Delta Force gets tasked to chase down the Black Serang, while the rest of the Black Thorn must continue on going after Karim. With all the commotion surrounding the squads, Ara takes a moment to stop as her Ultra Instincts activate, alerting her that something feels super off and it ain't the watermelons. Suddenly, a rain of arrows falls straight at her, as it's the Black Serang trying to slow down the only person stronger than Karim. Seoli then makes a remark that she has a bad feeling about all this, as it seems like they are deliberately being led on a wild goose chase by the Black Wolves. Regardless, with everyone continuing on their mission, Ara stays back again to gather some of her thoughts, as she apparently cannot multitask. She then starts talking about how ever since Herring appeared in her life, both the King of the Wolves and the Queen of the Foxes have achieved what they wanted by scapegoating Karim as the main reason for the war. After collecting her thoughts, she begins to continue her journey to chase down the most wanted man on the planet. Unfortunately for her, she finally realizes that with her continually being distracted by her thoughts, she has now actually lost and forgot which direction Karim went. Elsewhere, the three musketeers find themselves super soaked due to the intense rainfall, so they decide to shelter up inside a nearby abandoned house to warm up. The boys then start complaining about how one is super hungry, while Wong is very cold and Herring is sad that he didn't get to destroy the firm rice cakes of Ara today. So they end up combining their brain power to try and figure out how they can find the captain, as they are all too miserable stuck in Fox territory as wanted fugitives. As such, they realize that the only thing boys long for in the kingdom of men, other than rice cake of course, is to meet their actual mothers, so they figure that that's what the king's simp is attempting to do while given the perfect opportunity inside their territory. Now back to the action, the Black Serang looks like he's about to be defanged as more and more Delta Force members catch up to him as they slowly regain the upper hand. But joke's on them as the Black Serang has multiple things up his sleeve as he's able to buy a bit more time by quickly throwing some hidden darts close range, catching a few of them by surprise. And just as he thought he was able to get away with everything, the pink girl from Hunter x Hunter arrives and she's able to swiftly land a direct hit, and it was super effective. She then continues to combo her hits into another attack, allowing her to successfully destroy his crossbow, so it's basically like she powered up using the souls of her fallen brethren. Shortly after, Silly appears out of nowhere and delivers a finishing blow to the Black Serang as he couldn't detect her rising up from the shadows. After falling to the ground in disbelief, the Black Serang stares at the ground defeated, knowing that from now on there will be a very high chance he will be living the rest of his life in captivity. Hera then watches on, looking like she wants to help the Serang out, as she probably is in love with him, as these two are the last ones left to never experience Rice Cake destroying from their respective elite groups. Nonetheless, the Black Serang risked his entire life for the King's simp, and now Kareem is able to finish his mission as it's revealed that he was ordered to bait the Black Thorn to an old and abandoned Delta barracks. And just like the Black Wolves planned, the Black Thorn have unknowingly stepped on Kareem's trap card, as they were too busy fixated on reclaiming him at all cost. As such, an entire group of Black Thorn members continue on their chase into the abandoned barracks without suspecting it's a trap, since what kind of Chad would just allow himself to get caught hiding in a dead end? Regardless, the girls only leave two to stand at guard at the entrance, while the rest rush in like a bunch of ninjas from Hidden Leaf Village. Upon their eyes adjusting within the dark, the girls stop as they find Kareem standing there with his back turned to them, looking quite ominous. Now me personally, if there was only one exit and your target just stops there without him dropping a single hint of nervousness, I'd be the one expecting something sussy baka to appear. It then turns out that Kareem is indeed hiding something sussy baka, so he whips out some kind of advanced contraption while slowly turning to the army of girls. He then makes a remark in front of all of them, claiming that his job here is finally done. As such, he swiftly drops the item, while the so-called elite Black Thorn did nothing the entire time Kareem was busy doing his supervillain speech, and I'm sure all of them could have stopped him from using the item. Unfortunately, due to them literally not making a move the entire time to stop him, Kareem was able to instantly slice open the capsule-looking item while channeling some of his air-bending skills. In just mere seconds, the entire building was engulfed by a mysterious fog, causing all the girls, bar Kareem, to start coughing uncontrollably. With Kareem unaffected, even though he's also breathing in the same air, he's forced to watch as every single Black Thorn member begins to turn red and look super flustered. After a few more seconds pass, every single one of them start to fall on the ground, so it's as if some kind of female-only fume has been unleashed. It was at this very moment that I knew all my homies would hate Kareem, as this man has single-handedly used up all his plot armor, just so the author would let him live up to his name of being the ultimate menace to society. With an entire Blackthorn squad now on their knees after smelling my boy Pop Smoke, they are unable to move as their bodies begin to uncontrollably shake as it's being taken over by an unidentified feeling never experienced before. Suddenly, the entire Katsuki clan shows up after Kareem has finally completed his mission, so they start hyping Kareem up as the future Hokage. So now the masked ninja starts ominously whispering to Kareem that they'll take it from here, which totally means it's time for the Supreme Sussy Baka adventures to begin. Now this feels like the Hunger Games all over again, but this time we are stuck inside District 69. And it's all thanks to Kareem always wanting to be the top simp whenever Ara starts streaming. However, it's later revealed that the captain of the Garimbi elite sold out his squad and the nation of girls just because of a mysterious location he always wanted to know. Now this place better be some kind of fountain of youth or a special time chamber to help grow his smaller banana tree plantation, so he can match up with Herring, as this bro has committed the most atrocious betrayal so far. Kareem then leaves, leaving behind an entire squad of girls to the mercy of the Supreme Sussy Baka gang, as their special weapon is super effective against the female type. As the Black Thorn members continue to feel the strong effects of the concoction, the captain makes a remark of how she's going super crazy due to her now being absolutely thirsty. It's then revealed that the Black Wolves have successfully created a formula that allows even the most elite of all elite within the Black Thorn members succumb to be uncontrollably thirsty for banana tree juice, since it makes them burn inside. As such, the Akatsuki clan begin whipping out their bottles full of whipped cream, ready to explode at any time, causing even the captain to instantly cosplay a water fountain full of leaks. Now I feel bad, as the only thing left for the captured Black Thorn members is to mutter the words, "I want it." Now in a real 5 vs 5 custom match, we all know the Black Thorn would whoop these losers with a score of 13-0, making them all derank in a single ranked match. Anyways, the leader of the loser ninja gang orders his henchmen to proceed, as they can now experience the best rice cake smashing in their entire lifetime. And so I would call these guys an absolute menace. But in reality, these guys are total monsters as they start putting fuel in their battering rams to siege the walls of these girls over and over. With the Black Thorn unable to do anything as their minds have now separated from reality, the Black Wolves add much salt to the injury as they start insulting the girls. In the end, the true colors of the Black Wolves were the ones that actually came to light, as the Sussy clan could not handle the rice cakes of the elite Black Thorn, so the men ended up becoming boys after being able to siege with only just one pump. Elsewhere, Ara notices some footprints that she knows does not belong to either Karim or any of the Black Thorn or Delta Squad members, so her Sussy alarm starts ringing. With the ring-a-ding going through her head, she decides to zoom like the Flash to follow the tracks, as she has been feeling that this is exactly like a good omen ult from the enemy team and someone has already infiltrated Spawn. Now back to the loser gang, the leader of the cheaters looks absolutely terrified as none of them can handle packing the heat, where we discover they couldn't even make the Black Thorn climb Mount Climax. As such, all of them decide to put their ninja clothes back on, only for them to commit the unthinkable to the vulnerable. With the special ops of the Black Wolves actually going through with their sad actions, we get reminded that this is a dark and cruel world. But at least more members of the Delta Squad of the Crimson Foxes are starting to figure out what's unraveling before them. But then things get even worse when the Hunter x Hunter girl tells Seuli to quickly look at where she's pointing. And from the afar, the two girls are forced to look on at a fire tornado, still unsure of what the heck happened to some of their friends and family. Eventually, as Ara hurriedly followed the tracks forward, her Wraith-like senses prove to be correct as she stumbles upon the fiery mess that has overtaken their old abandoned special headquarters. Upon finally arriving close to the entrance, Ara is forced to stop her Roblox charge as she gets ganked by a sight not even Karim would wish upon his worst enemy. It's then revealed that her profound emotionless face is being fueled by being petrified at the sight of her longtime friends and idols slowly burning away, with some even stuck on a stake at the front door. Me personally, I never expected this cultured anime to take such a turn, but here we are, avoiding some scenes that it's more graphic than most horror movies releasing in 2023. But if anything, this is going to be the turning point for Ara, where we must find out if she's able to handle the sight before her, or will she become an absolute menace gunning for revenge. Anyways, as Ara helplessly watches on in shock, the girl from Hunter x Hunter and Seuli shows up as well. But those two did not fare as well as Ara. Regardless, Ara cannot hear the girls calling her name, as the only thing she can hear is the roaring flames coupled with the resounding beat of revenge. As such, her true power level looks like it has finally been unleashed, so she activates her super speed to charge forward while guided by her ultra instincts. At the same time, Seuli bids farewell to her best friend, telling her that she will for sure be back to send her off properly, as the Black Wolves attempted to roast her like a corn dog. Eventually, more and more of the Delta forces begin to arrive at the site with varying reactions from sadness and all the way to absolute madness fueled by rage. However, Seuli, like a true leader, musters up some energy to show some strength by commanding all of the girls to witness and never forget the sight before them, proving that men are actually scum. Meanwhile, the Sussy Beka gang rejoice in letting off some whipped cream, unable to believe how much damage a single fume did to an entire squad of Black Thorn members. Luckily, we learn that the Black Wolves were only able to produce 2 of these super high-dose perfumes capable of dismantling elite members of the Crimson Foxes, so they only have 1 left in their inventory. Although they only have a single dose of the super concentrated formula, the special ops leader decided to bring along multiples of the smaller dose mass-produced ones just in case. Just as they were laughing and smirking at the thought of some more rice cake destroying, the boys realize that they are being stalked by someone within the shadows. Upon further investigation, they discover it's none other than Arai Yunsul herself, but our girl is looking like she's a little bit possessed by a demon with her eyes glowing purple. Panic then ensues within the special ops of the Black Wolves, but Ara does not give them another second, so she activates her female breathing style and instantly teleports forward. Now I wish for the worst fate for these dudes, and I would hope that Ara would personally cut off their battering rams inch by inch, then grilling it on a slow burn fire. Nevertheless, although outnumbered by an entire squad and unlike Karim, she takes every single one head-on. She then calls forth on the powers of Alice and Asuna from Sword Art Online to join her in battle, but she doesn't even need them as she dispatches multiple within a blink of an eye. Now that she's in demon mode, she cuts through almost everyone's single one like butter, where it's revealed that the Sussy Beka gang consists of only commanders from the Shadow Ops. In the end, only 3 are left from the rear flank of the Special Forces as their battle is sped up due to the arrival of Sealy and Hunter x Hunter Girl. After eliminating the rear guard, the 3 musketeers charge on forward to the rest of the Black Wolves' Shadow Ops gang, as the girls target the supreme commander of the group. You might as well call him the supreme loser, as he has to order his men to use the forbidden formula as he becomes a scaredy cat at the sight of just 3 women going after him. Unfortunately, the Black Wolves have been busy practicing their aim in aim labs, so they successfully land a direct throw, causing all 3 girls to get hit. Although they attempted to hold their breath in, they still have no idea about the Black Wolves' special weapon, as no one lived to relay the vital information. Even Ra got stuck inside the explosion, so it does not bode well that the rank 1 swordsman and 2 of the top 10 members of the Crimson Foxes find themselves in a very sticky situation. Luckily, Ra remembers the one thing Karim told her to do right before he disappeared, and it was to make sure she held her breath the entire time. As such, Ra activated her Beyblade powers to power through all the smoke, allowing the Supreme Commander to squeal like a girl, thinking that the mass-produced perfume is too weak against the 3. And so the commander runs away while the rest of the Black Ops stay to stall the girls, so he ends up not figuring out that the smaller doses is actually affecting the other 2 girls. As such, Sealy screams for Hira, still trying to make sure she's still alive, since she's a true captain and would risk her life for any of her members. Unfortunately, Hira is frozen in place as her twin pyramids have decided to be more pointy than usual, so she's unable to move even when she's facing a sword right beside her. And so the Shadow Ops member starts monologuing for a few seconds before sending Hira to the afterlife. But Hira is actually Doctor Strange in disguise, so she looks through a million futures and remembers that anytime a bad guy in anime takes too long to finish their job, then they're about to get clapped out of nowhere.